r/AskReddit. What's an industry secret in the field you work in? Auto insurance agent. Please, for the love of God, don't tell auto insurance agents more than you have to. They ask you a question. Just say yes or no and answer the question as straight as you can. If you go on and on about your life story, you will probably end up saying something you don't have to, and making your rate higher, or getting yourself declined. We want to get you that policy as cheap as possible. Only tell us what we need to know, and don't say anything else. Edit. For some reason I have people in the comments accusing me of enabling fraud now. Fraud sucks and is dumb. Don't lie with your answers. I will reiterate to be upfront and honest when answering the questions they ask you. Just don't go off on tangents and say unrelated shit. As an auto insurance claims adjuster I second this. And buy coverage that protects you. You get what you pay for. 10k property damage liability doesn't cover shit anymore. In Microsoft Office, Word specifically, you can upload recorded interviews, and it will transcribe it, and ever have speaker 1 and speaker 2, 3, and 4. Basically, eliminating a huge annoying part of the job. Edit WTF. This blew up. Everyone who gave awards and stuff, you're animals. I love you all. Okay, adding this edit haha. You do need to be subscribed to Office. Then when in Word, there is a dictate button. If you click it, dictate and transcribe should pop up. Click transcribe. Yes, it's not perfect, but for a reporter who is transcribing all day long, and is definitely the most annoying thing ever, that I'd read doing on a daily basis, it's changed my life. The fruits and veggies you buy at the grocery store, wash them. There are people that don't wash fruit and vegetables from the store before eating them. Also, I highly recommend not putting something you intend to eat directly on the conveyor belt at the register. That thing is not necessarily sanitary. People put money and sneeze on it all the time. I work in a grocery store and never put food directly on the belt. Where else is there to put it? This doesn't make any sense. I guess I could have been a bit more specific. I mean like, putting pastry directly on the belt and not in one of the plastic bags meant to put them in. Or for example tomatoes, there are clear plastic bags next to them to put them in, so you keep them somewhat clean and organized. Knowing how to research the answer to a question is at least as, or even more useful than knowing the answer to begin with. I made a living in it for a decade with that mindset. I don't know any programming languages, but I know how to translate. It's worked so far. I'm the receptionist for an IT company. Being able to translate the whole system has gone kerflooey to steps like, are there any error messages, and what were you doing when this happened, is a pretty needed skill. Note if you are not tech savvy, and your computer has an error code, take a picture with your phone, or write it down, it's extremely helpful. If you don't have tech help on standby, you can often Google it, and see what the problem is. Before that I worked phones at a hardware store. It's surprisingly similar advice. Take pictures, especially any codes on hardware pieces. I'm a musician. It's not really a secret, but 90% of our revenue is from merch. Spotify plays, show guarantees, etc. Everything is menial in comparison to shirt sales. In fact, a big reason bands tour as often as possible is because we can sell more shirts when we are in front of people. Edit. Thanks for the love guys. To those asking, icing for holding absence. I'm a dentist. Here's a lowdown on toothpaste. As long as it has fluoride they are all basically the same. When I was in dental school the Colgate lady came by and said that everything that says Colgate Total on it is all exactly the same. The only difference is the packaging. So whether it says whitening or gum protection or whatever else it is all exactly the same. The exception is sensitivity. Toothpaste typically does have an extra active ingredient, No3, which helps with sensitivity. Don't ever feel obligated to buy the expensive toothpaste because you think it will be better for your teeth. Just buy whatever you like best. But the toothpaste I buy at the dentist, Clinpro, is different, correct? Yes, Clinpro, a prescription toothpaste, has a higher percentage of fluoride which makes it better for people who tend to get cavities. Library worker here. The majority of donations we receive do not end up in circulation on our shelves. No matter how much you demand we put them there once they are donated. The reason why this is because we only add items to the collection that we think will circulate, be checked out. Most libraries get funding based off of statistics. We don't want to waste shelf space on items that people aren't checking out, as it won't improve our stats. So, unless the donated items are brand new or by popular authors, we will not add them to the collection. We will also weed unpopular items from our collection with extreme prejudice for this reason, much to our patrons' horror. These books usually end up being sold at book sales to help generate funding for other library programs. Dude, I love the local library's annual book sale. They do it 4th of July weekend, as this is a touristy area, and it's like a 50 cents for paperbacks and $1 for hardcover. Sad as I am that they aren't doing it this year, I'm pretty excited because that means it'll be huge next year. As a beginner counselor, I worked with a lot of children and adolescents. Consistently, the discussion with my colleagues was how it was the parents who were the biggest problem and the kids were just adapting to a crazy environment. Oftentimes I wonder how a patient got to be a certain way, and then I meet their parents. My psychiatrist. Word. I see a therapist every other week, and basically he says that my parents did a decent job, but fucked things up about 20% of the time. A lot of librarians will waive your fines if you have an excuse and you don't ask too frequently, even large fines. Also, librarians don't care about your fines and aren't judging you. Please come back. We personally have more fines than you. Librarians are always overdue with their books. Edit. I wrote this before going to bed, and it exploded overnight. Thank you, kind strangers, for the awards. I'm touched. All your fines are waived for life. Also, small grammar edit BC. I was nodding off when I wrote this originally. I don't know if you're from US, but I'm new to US. Everything, rent, banks, car rentals, universities etc seems to want to overcharge and wrench the last cent out of you for minor forgivable reasons. Except for libraries. I was late on a book. A few days. Wasn't charged. I love the libraries and the library system. They also try their best to get you a book from other locations, and librarians are generally kind and polite. Library cards are free. You enter a library and nobody judges you etc for anything. They also recommend not to get our research published with predatory journals etc. You are awesome. The world is in debt of your services. Not an industry I work in per se, but I used to be in a sales role. One of my customers was a milk bottling plant. I was somewhat surprised that they were putting the exact same milk in both organic and non-organic cartons. Turns out all of their milk is organic, but in order to not miss out on the sales of non-organic milk, they just bottle them differently and sell them at different prices. Former industry, commercial radio. It's never caller 5. It's the caller who sounds best on air. I won something on the radio once. The lady DJ called me back on a few minutes. She forgot to record the call. She told me to act excited. It was hilarious. She blamed it on being pregnant, said she had lost her mind. I won Rolling Stones tickets once. The concert had been sold out for months. Winning tickets was supposed to be a big deal. They didn't like my phone recording, so they asked me to come in, and they would give me an entire prize package on the air. Got there, they had a box of CDs, t-shirts, gift certificates and other shit. Got me on the air live. I panicked. They were looking for excitement. They got a mumbling 18-year-old. When they asked me what my favorite Rolling Stones song was, I said, and I quote, I don't know. Probably Fortunate Son or Proud Mary, not Stones songs. 3 DJs in the room just went silent before just going to commercial. They pulled my tickets out of the prize box, handed them to me, and led me out the door. 30 years later, one of those DJs is back on the air locally, and he's told the story on the air several times. All was good with me. I scalped the tickets for $200. If you order a pizza, but like to choose your own toppings, it's often cheaper to choose an existing pizza like a meat supreme or something with loads of toppings, then swap out all the toppings for ones you want, than to go for the create your own option in the menu. Note, this is much less awkward if you order online than on the phone. There's a certain pizza chain website that I discovered will let you apply coupons on pizzas that aren't covered by the coupon. If you mess with it a bit you can stack coupons, sub out ingredients, and get your order down to about 50-60% of the original price, even if you don't have coupons that cover what you've actually ordered. Then pay online and pick up in person. I doubt a human ever actually checks your total in the process. Edit. Dear God, what have I done? It is a regional chain. I think the takeaway from this thread is that many online systems have poor coupon stacking logic and the workers DGAF. Be sure to tip them on the full price as a thank you. A lot of successful artists at a certain level of success do nothing more than create a concept and employ several assistants, who are either current or graduating art students, who actually make the art itself, its reproductions or both. Edit. I know this is old news in the art industry and academy, but outside of it, I found it very hard to explain my job to people. I do believe that films also romanticize this field and warp what a lot of outsiders think it actually is. Can 100% vouch for this. I make about the salary of a teacher, less, creating artwork every day for a recognized contemporary sculptor, who then picks up the work from me at the studio, and then sells what I made for hundreds of thousands. But hey man, his idea industry no RMS. Former Bath and Body Works associate here. The scent they discontinue will come back with a different name and new marketing. They're just recycling the scents. I worked for the biggest Mast, the company that owns Bath and Body Works, and is a division of L Brand, contractor in Virginia for 8 years. There are so many fragrances that are rebranded and recolored to a different flavor. Fragrance oil is absolutely 100% the most expensive part of any shower gel or foaming soaps we made. Odds are they have hundreds of thousands of pounds of these oils in warehouses all over the US, so they just rebrand it as something else. It's not like they are going to scrap it. Also, all this shit you see on the labels of shower gels and foaming soaps that say enriched with vitamin E or contains aloe vera extract is complete absolute fucking bullshit. We made our batches in sizes of 40,000 lbs. In a 40k pounds batch, you had about 2 ounces of vitamin E you would add to the batch, and barely enough aloe extracts to even get it out of the fucking cup to add it to the batch. They add the absolute bare minimum to have it on the label, as required by FDA. Foaming soaps are also about 65% water, so they make an absolute killing selling them.